France has assumed a bold role in escalating tensions between Greece and Turkey. Athens will acquire 18 new French-made Rafale fighter planes, among other defense systems, including 4 Navy helicopters and 4 new frigates. The country's armed forces will also hire an additional 15,000 service people over the next 5 years.
In today's world, both Greece and Turkey are trading partners and NATO members. But for centuries, there has been rivalry and simmering tension between them, and one spark could set it all ablaze. A single clash in the Aegean or Eastern Mediterranean could escalate beyond control, or a regional feud could reshape alliances. Today we'll talk about how and why a Greece-Turkey war might begin, and the ways in which it can alter the dynamics of the world. Let's begin. Beneath the Mediterranean lie billions in untapped natural gas reserves. Control over these fields means energy independence and geopolitical leverage. Greece, Cyprus, and Israel have pushed forward the EastMed pipeline project to bring gas to Europe. But Turkey insists the plan ignores its rights. Turkey has sent seismic exploration ships escorted by naval frigates into contested waters. Greece responds with patrols and joint drills with France, Israel, and Egypt. The EU has threatened sanctions, but Ankara continues to press its claims. Every exploration ship becomes a symbol of sovereignty. Every naval escort is a test of resolve. In such conditions, confrontation is always close, and yet the sea may not be the place where sparks first fly. There is another arena where danger looms. Above the Aegean, fighter jets from both nations cross paths almost daily. Greece claims 10 nautical miles of airspace while Turkey recognizes only 6. The result is constant dogfights. In fact, in 2022 alone, over 10,000 airspace violations were recorded. Sometimes pilots lock radars onto each other. Sometimes they come within meters at supersonic speeds. One mistake could send a plane crashing into the sea. Drones add another layer. Turkey's UAVs fly reconnaissance and patrol missions, while Greece scrambles jets in response. Unlike manned fighters, drones make miscalculation even easier. There's less hesitation in shooting one down. So here's the question. If war breaks out, do you presume the countries would prefer fighting on land, sea, or in the air? Drop your guesses and reasonings in the comments below, and we'll come back to that in the outro. The roots of Greek-Turkish hostility run deep. After centuries under Ottoman rule, Greece declared independence in 1821, igniting wars that shaped the modern Balkan map. The 20th century brought new scars in the shape of population exchanges in 1923 under the Treaty of Lausanne that displaced millions. The 1974 Turkish invasion of Cyprus split the island in two, creating a frozen conflict that endures today. Even peace treaties left wounds. Greece disputes Turkey's interpretation of Lausanne and Paris agreements over Aegean islands. Turkey accuses Greece of militarizing territories that were meant to remain neutral. Meanwhile, Greeks see Turkish overflights and naval patrols as intimidation. History is a living memory here. Each violation, each airspace breach, recalls decades of mistrust. These unresolved disputes form the foundation for any future clash. And that foundation is shaped just as much by geography as by history.
Foes squaring off militarily in the Eastern Mediterranean. Are Turkey and Greece inching closer to war? Both are members of NATO, American allies.
Look at a map of the Aegean Sea, and you immediately see the problem. Thousands of small islands lie scattered near Turkey's long western coast, and many of them are controlled by Greece. In some places, Greek islands sit just a few kilometers off Turkish shores. This geography fuels overlapping claims to airspace, territorial waters, and exclusive economic zones. Greece insists on a 12 nautical mile territorial sea, while Turkey maintains it would block its access to the Aegean. Ankara even declared such a move a casus belli, an act of war. The result is daily encounters. Greek fighter jets intercept Turkish planes violating its claimed airspace. Turkish ships shadow Greek patrols. In such tight quarters, miscalculation is never far away. Geography ensures that both sides are locked into an unavoidable proximity, but geography isn't the only battlefield. Cyprus remains the most visible wound of this rivalry. Cyprus is more than a Mediterranean holiday island. It is the center of one of Europe's longest unresolved conflicts. In 1974, Turkey invaded after a coup in Nicosia, backed by Greek nationalists. The island split into a Greek-controlled south and a Turkish-occupied north, separated by a UN buffer zone. To this day, no Turkish government recognizes the Republic of Cyprus. Instead, Ankara supports the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, a state recognized only by itself. The South, meanwhile, is an EU member, meaning any aggression here instantly involves Europe. Energy made the frozen conflict even hotter. Offshore gas discoveries have drawn international companies and Turkish warships. In 2018, Turkish naval vessels blocked an Italian exploration ship licensed by Cyprus. Such confrontations show how economic interests layer onto historical dispute. The Mediterranean's energy riches sharpen the stakes, but military balance determines who might control them. On paper, Turkey fields the second largest army in NATO after the United States, over 350,000 active troops, and battle-tested drone fleets give Ankara formidable strength. Its Bayraktar drones reshaped wars in Libya, Syria, and Nagorno-Karabakh, proving their effectiveness on real battlefield. Greece, though smaller, invests heavily in defense by spending nearly 3% of GDP, one of NATO's highest rates. Athens has acquired French Rafale jets, upgraded F-16S, and is now on track for F-35 stealth fighters. Its navy, bolstered with French frigates, aims to counter Turkish dominance at sea. This arms race is fueled by rivalry itself. Greece feels encircled. Turkey feels constrained. Each new acquisition by one is matched by the other. Both are NATO allies, yet each builds forces as if preparing to fight the other. That paradox creates a dangerous instability, and it often comes to head in the waters of the Eastern Mediterranean. A conflict might begin with a single incident, like a downed jet, or a clash over a drilling ship. Both governments, pressured by nationalist politics, could respond with force. Naval skirmishes might expand into missile strikes on bases and ports. Turkey could use its long-range drones and ballistic missiles, and Greece could retaliate with precision strikes from Rafales and F-16. Beyond the battlefield, cyber attacks would target infrastructure, which could cripple power grids, banks, and airports. Refugee flows would overwhelm Europe. Energy markets would spike as 3 million barrels of oil and natural gas pass daily through the Bosporus, and Eastern Mediterranean gas projects would stall overnight. Economically, tourism, which is vital to both countries, would collapse overnight. Shipping through the Bosporus and Dardanelles, carrying millions of barrels of oil, could be disrupted. Investors would flee, currencies would crash, and regional stock markets would plummet. Within days, a local clash could morph into a full-scale regional crisis, and Europe would be forced to respond. As EU members, Greece and Cyprus would demand solidarity. France has already signaled willingness to support Athens militarily when Paris delivered Rafales and frigates specifically for this rivalry. Germany, more cautious, would push for mediation, fearing energy disruption. The Balkans could destabilize too. Old ethnic tensions from Kosovo to Bosnia might flare if NATO appears divided. Refugee waves would pressure frontline states. Europe's dream of energy independence from Russia through Eastern Med gas could collapse. A Greece-Turkey war is not just bilateral, because it would quickly become European. Brussels will be forced to take sides, even as it struggles to keep the Union united. But Europe isn't the only actor caught in the middle. NATO itself faces an existential dilemma. Both Greece and Turkey are NATO members, bound by Article 5 mutual defense. But what happens when two allies go to war with each other? NATO has no clear answer. The US has deep stakes. American forces operate out of Suda Bay in Crete and new bases in northern Greece. At the same time, Turkey hosts the Incirlik Air Base, home to U.S. nuclear weapons. Washington would face an impossible choice: back one ally or stand aside as NATO credibility collapses. For NATO, already strained by Russia's war in Ukraine, such a fracture could be devastating. Adversaries would see division, allies would question commitments, and adversaries are watching closely, especially Russia and China. For Russia, a Greece-Turkey conflict would be a gift. It could weaken NATO, pull Western attention away from Ukraine, and destabilize Europe's energy routes. Moscow might even exploit the chaos to expand influence in the Black Sea and Balkans. China, too, has interests. Its belt and road investments include Greek ports like Piraeus. A regional war could threaten trade flows through the Mediterranean, forcing Beijing to reconsider its European strategy. The Middle East would also feel shockwaves. Pipelines, shipping lanes, and alliances all run through the eastern Mediterranean. A prolonged war could disrupt oil and gas markets, sending prices soaring globally. In short, a local spark between Athens and Ankara could ripple across continents. Which brings us back to the question we left hanging earlier. Remember when we asked where the very first shot of this conflict might be fired? The truth is, it likely would begin in the skies. The Aegean is one of the most crowded and contested airspaces in the world, with Greek and Turkish jets intercepting each other almost daily. So if you found this breakdown insightful, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video for more deep dives into global conflicts.